Hello and welcome to Indulge. My name is Aisha, and joining me today is Drew McIntyre, one of the biggest superstars from the WWE. Hi, Drew. Welcome to Indulge.
Hello, thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm good, Drew. So tell me, earlier this week, I think Raw was really, phenomenal. Everybody has been talking about it, and you've taken, the fight to the locker room. So how did all that pan out? Can you tell me a little bit behind the scenes what happened?
Well, behind the scenes, old Lashley showed his true colors, that he's a little bit worried about Drew McIntyre and the fact we have a big title match at WrestleMania and I might well win back my championship. So he put a bounty on me. He said if any of the other superstars take me out before WrestleMania, they would take my place in the title match at WrestleMania because old Bobby Lashley is worried about Drew McIntyre. I arrived at the building fully expecting to be attacked the second I got there. I wasn't. I sat there all night looking around, wondering why nobody was stepping up and taking advantage of this opportunity. And I thought about, when I was younger, and if somebody like put out that opportunity, like, hey, you could be in WrestleMania, the biggest event of the year, your life's work. What we do is we battle each other. All you have to do is battle this particular individual backstage and take them out. And nobody was taking them up on it. And it actually upset me as somebody who's, a veteran, a locker room leader. I was disappointed in the locker room for not stepping up and take advantage of that opportunity, even though it's a cowardly opportunity from Lashley. I expected them to think about their future, think about WrestleMania and take them up on it. And I finally lost it. I snapped and I went into the locker room and I told them exactly how I felt. I was like, what is going on here? Why is nobody taking advantage of this? You're all just sitting here. Most of you aren't on WrestleMania and you're just waiting around when I'm right here. I'm your golden ticket to main event of WrestleMania. Lashley's given that opportunity. You're not taking it. And I cannot understand it. I see people playing on their phones. I'm like, what are you going to do? Start hoping to trend something on social media? Like, hey, give me an opportunity at WrestleMania. I'm the opportunity. You're not taking it. And quite frankly, it upset me. And I wanted to motivate our locker room to do something. And finally, Ricochet was the one who said, you know what? I'm not willing to jump you from behind, but I'll fight you in a match. And obviously, I respect that. And I said, okay, let's have the match. He put in a great performance. He showed a lot of heart. He didn't win in the end, but that showed a lot to me that Ricochet stepped up and obviously showed me what a coward Lashley is.
But we did watch that. It took a little bit of, convincing to be done, and you had to really like walk around and really talk to people. Was it a bit exasperating? Because I think we all noticed that you were getting a little worked up.
Yeah, I was very worked up. I just cannot understand. I guess it's because of my journey as somebody who was with WWE so young and got fired, and I had to work really, really hard to make my own opportunities, to create my own path back to WWE, and work extremely hard to get to the top of the mountain. I do not understand not working hard and take advantage of opportunities. You're in WWE, you're in the biggest company in the world, like the only company in the world, essentially at that level, like that huge. And opportunities don't come easy. You've got to work hard. And if you see the opportunity, you've got to take it. And if I'm sitting there, I'm the golden ticket and no one's taking advantage of the golden ticket. And I come to the locker room and they're literally just sitting playing on their phones. And as I say, half of them aren't on WrestleMania. That really upsets me because I know how hard you've got to work to get anywhere in this industry. And if people are not putting in the work, it quite frankly upsets me. And I want to motivate them. I want them to be the best they can be. And if they're not being the best they can be, they're playing on their phones. They don't belong on my roster.
Also, another thing about you, Drew, is that you were quite focused on what you wanted to do with your life, and also about your dream of getting into the WWE and all of that. Where did this kind of ambition? How did it come about? What was it? What were your earliest memories of WWE and watching all these big stars fight in the ring? What was it exactly that pushed you into this direction?
I've always wanted to be in WWE. My earliest memories are with my brother hiding behind the sofa, behind the couch at my older cousin's house, watching wrestling like it was forbidden, seeing these larger than life characters, being captivated, and saying at the time, I want to be a wrestler, but everyone wants to be a wrestler when they're a kid. But as I got older, I just got more obsessed, more captivated, kept saying it until I was around age 15 and I'd been harassing my mother for about 5 years to let me go to wrestling school. She finally said yes. And I started traveling to the only wrestling school in the UK, which was 12 hours from where I lived. So I used to take a 24-hour round trip at 15 to begin my wrestling journey. I was so obsessed. I also stuck at my education. That was my deal with my parents. They support the wrestling dream as long as you stick in at your education. And around that education. I got my degree in criminology from university at 21. I was obsessively pursuing that dream. And I guess when I look back now, it's easy to say I was driven myself and I believed in myself and I gave everything, which is true. But I also look at like role models and people that inspired me. And the number one person was my mother. I've told her story a few times that, she was just a normal little girl. I got into her early 20s, was afflicted by a condition that is very rare called cerebellum ataxia, which kills the balance portion of your brain. Suddenly she just couldn't walk anymore and was told, basically, you're going to be relegated to a wheelchair. Your brain's going to deteriorate. You can't have kids. And she said, screw that. Like, I met my dad, had me, had my brother. Growing up, I watched her overcome so much, never complained, just made everything look so easy, was essentially a superhero. And I guess that subconsciously instilled in me, you can achieve anything, you can do whatever you want to do. So when it comes to inspiration, I certainly look to my mother.
Wow, that's very interesting. I don't think I've read about this anywhere actually. The backstory behind your success and all of that. Also, tell me something about your Claymore move. You know, how how did you work on that? Because that's such a signature move of yours that everyone's just waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny story how it came to be. When at my end of my first WWE run, I was in a fake rock group. We didn't have any songs we didn't play any instruments, called 3MB. And we wore tight leather trousers, tight leather pants. And they're not very comfortable and they don't leave much room for kicks, let's say. Like the
Yeah.
crotch will split if you move too much. So I was
Oh my
running
God.
I was running to deliver a maneuver in a match, and I lifted my leg up to kick my opponent in the face, and I realized the crotch would split if I didn't kick up my left leg. So I kicked it up to avoid the crotch splitting, kicked my opponent in the face, landed awkwardly, hit my own head, knocked myself silly. But when I got to the back, somebody told me, hey, Drew, that move you figured out there, that's really cool. I've never seen it before. And if you can do it without hurting yourself, you've got a really effective maneuver. And sure enough, I watched it back, I worked on it, and it became the Claymore. So the best thing that came from 3MB, because of tight leather pants, was the Claymore. And it won 2 world championships and a third at WrestleMania coming up.
Oh wow, that's really interesting again, because who would have thought that tight leather pants would actually lead to your signature move?
Yeah, it's the only good thing that came from them.
Very interesting. So tell me about the upcoming match at WrestleMania. What are your plans for that? And then you'll be fighting against Bobby Lashley, and everyone is like really looking forward to the really anticipated, much anticipated face off between the two of you.
I'm excited about WrestleMania. I'm excited about fighting Lashley. I mentioned I don't exactly like the manner he's dealt with being champion, especially winning the title, where he attacked me after Elimination Chamber. I'd beat 5 other superstars, set up the Miz to win so he could beat the freaking Miz. No offense to Miz, but he's not quite as physical as Drew McIntyre. And then he's been ducking me the whole way. But realistically, when you look at our journeys, like Lashley and McIntyre, we've had to work extremely hard to get to where we're at today. We're both younger. We got huge opportunities. I was Vince McMahon's chosen one. Lashley main evented WrestleMania against Umaga with Vince McMahon and Donald Trump in each corner, but we both had to leave the company to truly find ourselves and work very, very hard outside the company to make our way back, to start at the bottom again, to rise our way to the top. And the fact that after almost 20-year journeys apiece, we're main eventing WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. He is an absolute beast. Like, he is big, strong, such a high level MMA fighter. Like, there's not many superstars as physical as Lashley or Drew McIntyre. And the thing I like about it most is if you look at the match, there's not many heavyweight title clashes anymore. But back in the day, it was always about the heavyweights. Yes. And this is a bit of a throwback where you've got 2 high level heavyweights, but we're not just going to be going in there and doing like slow holds or plodding around slowly. We're not those kind of heavyweights. Mm-hmm. We're athletic heavyweights. We're going to be moving around. We're going to be doing spectacular athletic moves, and we're going to be beating the tar out of each other because we're both very physical, all in the name of the WWE Championship. And I cannot wait. In the end, I'm going to win, of course. We've got 25,000 fans there. The fans are back in the building. They're going to sound like 400,000 fans. I cannot wait to hear the noise in the building, and I can't wait for everyone to watch. especially around the world, India too, and to see that visual of everyone in the building once again and say, okay, cool, we're starting to get back to normal now. And I can't wait till we're back to normal. We can travel again and we can get back to India. I'll have that title. We'll have a show and I can raise that bad boy up in front of everybody.
Wow, wow. Yes, we're also looking forward to that, Drew. But tell me something. Again, earlier this year, you tested positive for COVID-19, and it is not the nicest thing to happen to anyone. But how did that take a toll on you, physically and mentally? And how have you recovered from that?
I mean, I got quite lucky in regards to
Hmm.
the symptoms. I had very minimal effects with some
Hmm.
fatigue and the loss of smell. And I'm just grateful that WWE allowed me to talk about it on television. I was the first
Hmm.
person to, speak about it and tell the truth. I live like a hermit essentially. I live in my house. My gym is in my garage. My food is delivered to the house. I follow social distancing. I wear my mask and I still caught it. And I wanted the world to know that. No, like you've really got to follow, the regulations if we want to get through this thing. I'm grateful for WWE's testing policies that they caught it before I was able to go to work, pass it to someone else, and may have passed it to a high risk family member. And now we're putting out the PSAs to get vaccinated as soon as you're eligible, which I'm really proud of. Like, that's the only way we're going to get through this thing is everybody get vaccinated as soon as you're eligible. Let's get back to normal. Let's keep everybody healthy. I'd love to see my family. I've not seen them for over a year now. And I'd love to get traveling again so we can get back to great countries and great fans like in India.
Mm-hmm. What's your message to everyone, to your fans in particular, ahead of WrestleMania?
I just want to say thank you everyone for the support. I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I wouldn't be champion without all my fans across the world, especially this past year. I appreciate everybody's comments. I see them all socially. India is such an unbelievable, huge fan base. Like the amount of
Yes.
messages, the amount of messages I get from India is absolutely insane. I appreciate the positive words, the encouragement, and like the thanks for us keeping going and giving everyone some entertainment over this past year. But I say to everyone out there, like we're not able to do it without everybody's support, without everyone's belief in us. So I want to say thank you to the fans. We're getting back to normal. WrestleMania is going to be the first vision of that. And I mentioned it already, but I cannot wait to start traveling again, start touring again. I've never been to India, never. I've heard
Oh
about
my God.
all these great
Yeah.
stories. I was one of my best friends is Jinder Mahal. I used to travel with Jinder and the great Khali, new Hall of Famer, great Khali, in the same car. That was my travel car for years. The three of us going together, they would tell me all the great stories of India, all the cool places to visit. We'd stop off at their cousin's house. I mean, everyone in India, I guess, is cousins. So
Yes.
every time we went to, there was always a cousin there with traditional Indian
Yes.
food, and I love Indian food, being from the UK also. So I can't wait till we can finally travel, get to India, and tell everybody in person, thank you.
Okay, okay, Drew. We're looking forward to it and really hope that you're able to travel soon to India. And thank you so much for joining us and telling us all the backstories and especially about your mom and about your signature move. And all the best for WrestleMania.
I really appreciate that. And I was going to mention, like, something I've been learning about recently. I've started to kind of learn a bit more about the cricket. You're talking about being a leader. Like the situation where I went into the locker room and started cutting the promo on everybody and telling them to fire up and stand up. It's Virat Kohli, like the captain, the
Yeah.
Indian cricket team. Yeah, that's like somebody that sounds a lot like myself. I'm learning more about the kind of leader he is, the respect he commands, and the attention he grabs wherever he goes. And that's someone like I can look up to that I'm learning a lot about right now.
Wow. Wow. That's very interesting, Drew. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.